everybody, it is Andrew Bryantton back with you in action today, and today I want to give you a little update on where I'm at in terms of my numbers, and I want to give you 6 more tips on what is working for me to get more bookings. And you can see a little agenda for today that we will go through on those 6 tips. But as I say, let's see my numbers first to make sure that you're getting tips from someone who's actually seeing some improvement, because if I'm not moving in the right direction, then just leave the video right now and watch someone else. So first I want to get into just where I'm at, and for that we'll bring up the trusty whiteboard. And here is my numbers, and again I've updated you so far just on my paltry 29 bookings in November. In December, we had a little better here. We started moving in the right direction at 125. We took advantage of the Christmas season from those who wanted to take some holidays. Well deserved, I might add. And January, we are looking sharp here. We are moving our way up to 180. Now, I can see a couple weeks out. I'm projecting this based on multiplying basically the bookings that I've had to date so far in January and multiplying it by roughly 4. And that's how I'm getting the 180. I can see next week I already have 48 bookings for next week, so things are moving in the right direction. So I think we should hit 180. So Chinese New Year, I say, what Chinese New Year? Because things are moving in the right direction. We're going to get double booked with mornings and night times. I think, like I said in my prior video and my tips, we are going to increase our bookings in the Chinese New Year. Now, we aren't there yet, but just the way things are going and the way the bookings are coming, I noticed a big difference this week with a lot of the older students backing off, and that's because they are having some big tests this week and next week before the Chinese New Year. So pretty much all my classes right now are level 1s. I'm getting some level 3s and 4s, but mostly is level 1s, and that's because the older ones are, of course, studying for exams. So that's where things are at for me. I would love to maybe get to 200. I think that's probably not going to happen this month, but I'm thinking at least 180 based on what I'm seeing, the trend that's going, and just how I feel things are going for the next little bit. So let's get into the topics today. And again, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm giving you some tips, and they're working for me. They can work for you too. So let's get into the first topic. The first topic is the end of class. So I heard this from another teacher, and this is a really good one. This person was only booking her schedule for 24-hour bookings. So the way she is getting to retain her students, and one little piece, I mean, she's doing a lot of good things, but one thing that I noticed that she's doing at the end of her class is she's really inviting that student to come back to see her again. So she says something like, I really hope that you come back into my classroom soon. Something like that at the end to show that you do appreciate them. And again, she's not putting on a show. I'm not putting on a show. I want them to come back. So let them know that they are appreciated and that you want them to come back into your classroom. So it's just a nice little way, rather than just saying goodbye, which again, say goodbye, but also throw in there at the end that you hope that they come back into your classroom. And that should help, again, them feel valued and that they enjoy, or you enjoy them in their classroom. So throw that in, say that at the end of the class. Number 2, so your video. I just updated my video here, and I've got my little sign up, and I kept it up and whatnot. I just wanted to show something fresh. I did the exact same video. I noticed the first time I did the video, there was a little lag, so my voice wasn't quite in sync with all the actions. So I did something fresh, did the exact same video more or less, and now there's no lag. I've got it so it looks fresh with a nice new year. So it's just something where the parents will see and say, oh, this person is keeping on top of things. So I just did that the other day, yesterday actually, and I got 5 bookings overnight, which is extremely rare for me. I do not get usually many bookings. My trials are all but gone. I think I've received about 2 trials in the last month. That's it. So, whatever. Once you get to a certain point, maybe they just don't give you many trials anymore. but I usually don't get that many bookings during the week, but I got 5, and I just updated my profile yesterday. So anyways, we'll talk maybe a little bit more on that, but keep your video fresh. Even if you have to do the exact same thing over again, do it. Just find some way to maybe bring it into the 2020 year, something like that. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, your bio. So I've mentioned this before, but really go back and make sure that it is pristine, that it translates well. And what I really like now, what I'm doing is I'm cutting out all the fluff. So I'm not using the full characters, whatever they give you. I'm just going straight to the point. I'm going straight for the jugular and going right into it, not even introducing myself. If you're full-time, tell them in your profile you are working full-time. That is a big thing that I think is working for me as well, because I say I'm full-time, I'm putting the time and energy into this, I'm going right to the chase, and like I mentioned before, if you can nail that profile and your bio, that's just going to be such a big boost that they're going to click into you, and they're going to want to at least try you in the classroom, or like I mentioned before, maybe add you as a favorite. So remove the fluff, keep it small. I don't know about you, but I look at a paragraph and I'm like, oh, that looks like really long. I just might pass on it. If you keep it small and condensed and keep the key things in there, I think that's so important. So try and do that as best you can. Number 4, so feedback. I mentioned this in a prior video as well, but I'm seeing big success, and this is a reason why I'm probably picking up some more bookings. So back a few weeks ago, my feedback 5 apple percentage was a paltry 6.8%. It got down to 6.8%. Now, as of today, I am up to 10.5%. So I've taken a big jump, and I'm going to give you verbatim what I'm putting in the feedback that is working. It is definitely working. I'm getting droves of feedback now, and so far I'm 18 for 18 in terms of 5 apples, so things are going well. And here's what I'm putting in the feedback verbatim to get the kind of uptick I've seen in the last couple of weeks in terms of my reviews. So I teach at VIPKID as my full-time job. I would really appreciate if you left me comments once you receive this feedback. By leaving me feedback, you help me teach more kids, and this allows me to keep teaching at VIPKID as my full-time job. I really love this job, and I wake up smiling each day I get to teach kids like Bow Bow. Now, how can someone not leave me feedback after that? And again, I do. I'm not putting on a show. I do wake up with a smile to teach most of the kids anyways. So just find a way to show the parents how much this means to you. Whether you put it exactly like that, this is working for me. I'm telling you, ever since I started doing this, the feedback has been coming back so much more consistently, and just adding in a few lines like that to show the parents how important it is for you. And for me, they could say, well, Andrew might not work full time if I don't do this, and maybe he can't teach my son or daughter, and hopefully they want me to do that. But I think that's so important to get the feedback, is that you need to show the parents how important it is to you. Number 5, updating something on your profile. So we've heard this from a few different sources, and it may not be gospel, but it's working for me, I think. So update something on your profile that needs to be reviewed every week. And the reason I say that is because I think there's some algorithms working with VIPKID. We've heard all the rumors about, taking off your slots and logging out and putting more slots back in. Maybe that's something to trigger and bump you up to the top of the list. I don't know. I've given up on that. I'm just too lazy, I guess, at this point. But I do like updating something on my profile every week. I've heard this from a few sources that if you do that, it might bump you up to the queue. So what I've got 2 good professional profile pictures, and like I mentioned, all they are is smiling passport pictures. That's it. with a nice shirt and tie on and whatnot. I've got one with a black background, one with a white background, and I just swap them every week. So around Thursday, I say, oh, time to get my other profile picture up there, and I literally just swap out my old one, put in my new one, exact same outfit and everything, but a different background. And I'm thinking that might bump you up to the top of the list in terms of parents being able to find you. I don't know. I'm just shooting darts at a dartboard here, trying to see what will work. But it doesn't hurt anyways, just to keep it fresh. And I think, like I mentioned before in my other tip, I just updated my video and I got 5 bookings, boom, overnight. That does not happen to me. I might get a couple trickle in that's outside of that sort of frenzy on Sunday into Monday, but it's unheard of for me here, like on the Tuesday going into Wednesday, to get 5 in one night. So anyways, it worked for me, whether it's your picture, your video, whatever. Picture's just so much easier, just to update and boom, boom, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. So try and update something on your profile every week or every couple weeks. The last one, number 6, the supplementary courses. So I just hit 150 in terms of courses taught back about a week ago, and a bunch of supplementary courses just open up, and we just heard in the update, I was holding off getting this until I heard a little bit more clarity that the supplementary courses will count towards our courses taught. There was some rumor, and I was even thinking that maybe they won't, because if you go under the sort of, you're looking at your own profile and seeing your classes taught, it didn't even mention supplementary courses in there, so I was a little bit scared that that might not count towards it. So anyways, bottom line is they do count. We got clarity, at least for now, they're going to count. And get every supplementary course that you can get, because that will lift your numbers big time. Like I'm seeing right now, I think I've got about 8 different supplementary courses. A bunch just came open up on earlier this week. Like I said, once I hit the 150 taught, and a bunch came up, and I got them all, and now I think we're up to 8. And I think going forward, I'm probably going to get roughly 10 to 20% of my courses taught are going to be supplementary. So that's just free courses. Some of them, to be honest, are not my favorite. You know, I don't like teaching them as much, but whatever. There's a lot of other jobs that I don't like doing things, so let's just stick her in there and find a way to get her done and make it as lively as possible. So do the supplementary courses. They don't take long to do. Just peruse through them, get through that test, get enough to pass it, go back and review the material to make sure you're confident in what you're teaching, because the last thing you want is to start teaching something you have no idea what you're doing. You start getting bad reviews. But bottom line, pass the test, review the material, make sure you're confident in what you're teaching, and that will help you get more classes and hopefully get some good reviews at the same time. So those are the 6 tips, a little more long-winded today, but keep hitting those. We're getting into the Chinese New Year. Like I mentioned, I started putting on the top of my feedback starting today, I put that I'm accommodating Chinese New Year and opening up more slots for them, Beijing time in the morning, which is of course nighttime here in Canada on the East Coast. And I think that's going to help as well, just to let them know that, hint hint, wink wink, I've got some more times open up. Let's have a good next couple of weeks here as we get going, and into, sometimes this will come down a little bit in terms of how busy it is, but I think we can keep increasing our bookings here if we keep our nose to the grindstone. I think there's going to be other teachers that are going to take some time off probably during this time period as well, knowing that usually the numbers come down. So let's treat it like Christmas and try and steal some more students over this time period. Best of luck in your teaching, and let's rock it as we go into middle part of January. So bye everybody. Bye-bye.